Go. Hi, my name is Thomas Christopher Carley, and right now we are going to define Batman. Clearly, Batman is a character that is part of our culture and heavily involved in a lot of people's imaginations. Almost exclusively, people find Batman to be quite cool and lots of fun, and many people want to grow up to be Batman. It has been exhaustively detailed by many people much smarter than me and better researched and better sourced that Batman is not, in fact, a character that we really want to be. Not just because of his parents, who are dead. Not just because he is kind of lonely and traumatized and broken. But because he does not deal with things in a healthy manner. He does not use his family's ridiculous wealth to improve the area. Oh, there's some token efforts to make the area a little better by supporting local charity measures and being involved in all those things that allow him to pretend to be a playboy philanthropist. And yes, he supports the Tompkins Clinic, and he's involved in, some rehabilitation efforts. But for the most part, he uses his money to be able to go out and do things that he wants to, commit violence, because that is much more visceral. That's a way to interact with the world in which he is a hero. He is able to physically confront these things that could be much better solved through streetlights, henchman rehabilitation programs, something other than a giant asylum that tortures its inmates. Something other than a giant prison that is really just cycling through things. The problem is that from what I've been able to determine, and again, through a great deal of personal work and a great deal of thought and a great deal of conversation, is that America has a Batman problem. And it's that rather than building infrastructure and setting up a system of support and having a level of involvement in the community, rather than doing that, he would much rather go into unnecessary and escalated situations and kind of make them worse. And that ties into the American ideal. The American ideal puts sacrifice far above preparation, sacrifice far above planning. It's much better for an individual to die in the line of fire saving a bunch of other people than to keep that situation from happening at all. And I thought that was universal for a very long time, but it's not. Living in Sweden, I have found that while they are a little less self-sacrificing individually, they are considerably more likely to prepare. And that's the vaunted taxes that everybody in America complains about. Oh, your taxes are so high. But in America, we don't have public health care. We have to be concerned that we don't have enough money to take our children to the doctor. There's rampant homelessness. Genuinely, a single medical emergency can bankrupt you in the US. And that is just foreign over here. People don't understand it at all. Because we would much rather do these dramatic, insane things than to actually be prepared for them and to actually have a support system there. So instead of having the streetlights in Gotham, instead of having rehabilitation programs for people, instead of having, preparation, it's much more, you have to do things your own way. You have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, it's failing in you, not in society. And the problem with that is that we tend to find an extremely unrelated situation. Let me back up. I used to think that the thing that made America different than other places is our desperate misunderstanding of statistics. We don't understand how things work statistically. We think that everybody has an equal chance to win the lottery. We think that everybody has an equal chance to become rich. And so we work against our own interests, thinking that one day we'll be rich. And so we don't want to punish rich people because clearly they've earned it. Even though statistics and numbers prove that almost nobody is rich who didn't start out significantly higher already. And especially the mega rich. The mega rich are, they were inches away from home while the rest of us, start on first or second base. Anyway, sorry about the metaphor. But the main thing that is important and the main thing to realize about Batman is that Americans have Batman in their head. I have Batman in my head. I got an extra degree that I didn't need because of Batman. And Batman it's the thing that makes us ignore statistics for the possibility of this incredibly statistically unlikely scenario. It's what makes us hold up the fact that it's what causes hoarding. It's what causes the unhealthy part of the fixation on firearms. It's the thing that causes the unhealthy fixation on taxes over the public good. You think of these bizarre, rare situations, and if you can think of a bizarre, rare situation to justify something, you will continually use that as an excuse to not actually take any efforts whatsoever. So it's Batman that keeps us from having universal health care. It's Batman that keeps us from having public transport. It's Batman that keeps us from having these individual, very, very important support systems. And it's Batman that is all of these apocryphal tales that fool normal, decent people into keeping us from getting anything that would benefit everyone because those individuals don't like it. Because those individuals can think of a single excuse in which it might be abused. And if you can think of a single time it might be abused, then that's a reason not to do it at all. Even though there might be 100 cases in which it is desperately, desperately useful, that single case of abuse makes it to where for you, that shouldn't happen at all. There will be more details on this. I'll be much more specific later, but I wanted people to understand what the channel is about. The channel is about me, the person that you met in the last video, against this kind of thinking. It's a metaphor. I'm not actually going to be fighting Batman, although maybe later. Maybe I can find someone to dress up as Batman and we can fight. That'd be fun. Anyway, it is a worthy pursuit, I think. And I'm going to attempt to do this. Eventually, I may improve the appearance of the locale, the appearance of myself. I will attempt to do some things at some point. But this is where I'm at. This is what we're saying. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to fight ignorance, which is my job, but is also a calling. I'm Mr. Carly. Nice to meet you.